Hi, it's K1BSZ again. Morning. Okay, here's another series here. Um, Power line interference. Boy, I tell you, I know all about that shit. Oh yeah. Well, let me give you a little bit of information on how to deal with power line interference and what you can do to combat it and all that sort of stuff. I started having power line interference way back in the 70s. Back in the 70s, I was a citizens band radio operator, and yeah, it was 27 megahertz, uh, ground plane antenna, and a Johnson Messenger 1 radio. And back then we had analog TV, not satellite. We had analog TV. Lived in a house in Fairleigh here, on top of a hill, and used to get a lot of TV channels from all over the place. Used to get channels 2, 3, 4, 5, uh, 6, 7. Let's see, 9, 11, a whole bunch of them, particularly on the low band frequencies. Now the low band uh, TV channels 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. They're on the band between 6 meters and the FM broadcast band. And so, anyways, we had this power line that went through my property. It was a big transmission line, and it was about 40,000 volts. It had a substation just below my house, and the main big power line fed the substation, and the power came up Route 5 to Fairleigh in that area, and then the other line went over towards Lake Fairleigh, West Fairleigh, Berkshire, and those places. And then the other side went down towards Thetford and Thetford Hill and those places. And some of that power would, New Hampshire would feed off of to complete all the goods. Well, anyways, so we had, the power lines were noisy. Old hardware, old insulators. The old steel towers had been there since the 1920s. And they were getting old, rusty, and the wind blowing, you'd see them waving in the wind. And the wires would flop back and forth. And so, I just, and then I started trying to figure out what I can do about getting rid of this interference. Well, the interference didn't bother me when I was into ham radio. This is before my ham radio days. But I'm just telling you this so you'll see what I went through. I went through a lot of bullshit. So, I complained to the superintendent of the Center Vermont Public Service Corporation, which is no longer in business, owned by Green Mountain Power now. And I kept complaining. And I got nowhere. So a friend of mine says, well, why don't you write a letter to the Vermont Public Utilities Commission? And I said, yeah, okay. So I wrote him a letter. That didn't get me anywhere. So then they said, well, why don't you get a hold of I can't think of his name. He was a field operations manager down Rutland area, because that was their main office in Rutland. And then they said, well, we'll send up a consultant. Now, this guy was a ham too. And, great guy. He passed on a few years ago. Wonderful guy. But, he was working for the power company. and really not really for the general public. You know, he was just there to, to help solve the problem. And I said, well, we're going to do some work on the lines. And they came back a few days later. Says, anything any better? No, still bad. I mean, it was like 40 over S9 interference. Couldn't watch channels 2, 3, and 4. It was just on the TV picture, be like, and you try to listen to a program, and all you'd hear is that's all you'd hear. You know, so then it went on for a while, and I had a cousin that used to work for the power. I didn't know that until one of my uncles told me. So I got a hold of him down in Rutland, and what the hell was his name? Young. Last name was Ernie Young. I think that's what his real name is. So I talked to him, and he said, well, Clyde, how long has this been going on here? Oh, 15 years. Oh, my God. He said, well, we'll get right onto it. We'll take care of it. Well, let me tell you, that's what it took. And they cleaned the lines right up, and it was fine. But I met the superintendent from the Bradford office about a week later. Oh, he was pissed. You just cost us $250,000. You keep complaining and bitching about our power company. I'm gonna shut your friggin' lights off. Can't do that today. Well, they could back then. So, anyways, that's what it took. You know, and sometimes you gotta really, get on people's asses to get things done. Okay, here's another power line story. I lived on Route 5 in Fairleigh about oh God, this had to be about almost 20 years ago, and I had my ham station on Route 5 on Main Street, and everything was working fine until one morning I listened to 75 meters, and all of a sudden, what the hell is that? Oh, it was power line interference. I knew right away what it sounded like, what it was. So I kept calling the superintendent up to Bradford, and they kept giving me the runaround. And here's the funny part of it. Oh, you're gonna laugh when you hear this. So, I've been complaining to them, and they sent one of their officials over to check things out, and they claimed they couldn't find it, beating around the bush. Call them up one morning. We're just about ready to call you. Oh, really? Says, Clyde, we found the problem. Oh, you did? And it's not even our lines. I said, really? He said, the superintendent says it's your next door neighbor's electric alarm clock. Really? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we went over there, checked it all out. He says, so it's out of our hands. Good luck. See ya. Well, that pissed me off. I went over to my next door neighbor's house, and I asked her, I said, you seen anybody from the power company here the last few days? She said, I ain't seen nobody. It's been about a month since I said, no, I said, there's a meter in. That was last month. I ain't seen anybody. And I said, well, have you got anything in here that's powered by electric motor besides your oil burner? You don't have an oil burner. Well, what do you have? She said, I have propane and wood. Oh, okay. Do you have any electric alarm clocks in? No. She said, the only thing I got to electric is a can opener. And I don't use that half the time. Oh, okay. So you don't have electric alarm clock? No. Everything's all quartz battery operated. Said, what do you think? I'm old fashioned? Oh, no. Oh, old lady, good lady, So the next day I call him up. Oh, this is when it gets interesting. So I called up. I called him up. I says, what the fuck do you think I am, a fool? And I said, excuse me? I said, I went over there and I checked with that lady. She does not have any electric alarm clock. All her clocks are quartz operated. I said, she doesn't have anything with electric motor there. Nothing. She has propane gas and doesn't run an electric motor. And I says, and I took my transistor radio and I went out, I found the interference, and I gave you the pole number, but yet you keep saying it's her electric alarm clock. I said, you people lied to me. Now, I'm going to give you 24 hours. 24 hours to fix that power line interference, or the shit's going to hit the fan. Do you hear me? The guy says, yes, sir. Do I make myself clear? He says, yes, sir. 24 hours from right now. I slammed the phone down. 20 minutes later, there was a crew out in front of my house, well, my apartment building. And they had bucket truck up there, and they're pulling all the hardware off, and they had cones up, and flaggers, and lights on. You could hear the radios on their truck. Cars are backing up, and they had a police officer out there directing traffic. Wouldn't be a bit surprised if helicopters are flying overhead. So they got it all cleared up. But the funny part of the whole deal is, get this. That afternoon, I moved out of the apartment. I did. I moved into the hotel. It was the day I had to move out. And I forgot all about it. I was moving out until the moving van came to my apartment. Right. Mr. Blake, you all ready to go? Oh, shit, that's right, too. I'm moving out today. So it goes on for about a month. And I had my phone line transferred where I am now. And he calls me up. He says, Mr. Blake, I haven't heard you for about a month. And he says, we took care of the interference. I said, oh, you did? Oh, okay. Oh, good. He said, you happy now? I said, yeah, I guess so. What do you mean you guess so? I said, I don't live on Route 5. I said, I moved out that afternoon. He wasn't very happy with me. So, but that's the thing. If you got power line interference and you find out where it is, get a transistor radio, battery operated radio, tune it to the 550 on the band, walk around, see if you can find the interference. You'll find it that way. Because some of those radiators from the power company have a harmonic right around 550. It's broad, wide band. You'll hear it down there. So anyways, and you find out where it is, you get the pole number, and you call the power company and tell it where it is. And if they give you a bunch of shit and everything, which they will, I mean, they won't thank you for anything. They'll just give you a bunch of runaround. So then, and you call the superintendent or call their field office or their main office, and you still get a runaround. And then you call the Public Utilities Commission in your state or your town or whatever, or county, and they give you a bunch of shit, and you can go to the state's attorney and talk to them. And then call the Federal Communications Commission. Oh, they love to hear about that stuff. Oh, yeah, they love to hear about that stuff. Call the Federal Communications Commission and file a complaint. They're on their website. It tells where you can file a complaint about. I think it's called incident radiators or something like that. Don't do it, pal. Anyways, call them. Email them, write them, whatever. And then get a hold of the ARRL, ask them for a little advice too and help, because they'll help you too. And you shouldn't have to go what I went through over the years. Sometimes you just got to be tough with them. I thought about going out with a fucking chainsaw and cut down the damn pole, but you don't want to do that. That's a felony. So, anyways, I hope I helped you with the power line stuff. And be safe. Have a great holiday. Don't drink and drive because it might spill your drink. That's alcohol bill. Alcohol bill. It goes in here, not on the floor. So we'll catch you all later. And remember, drive fast and drink milk. Bye.